yeah, I don't remember how to do this, so it's been a long time. So it's probably a good idea if I do. I need to get me a drink of water real quick before I do anything, because my throat was getting dry during that. That's why I had to keep pausing in the middle of the dialogue just for my throat. Okay. Pardon me. Okay. There we go. Sorry about that. I just really had to sort that out. My throat was getting really dry. Let's start with the basics of dueling. First, let me show you how to summon a monster. To bring a monster into play, you must summon it from your hand to the field. Now, let's draw a card from your deck. Okay. Currently, the card you're indicating is your deck leader, the Dark Magician. Let's order your deck leader to operate your hand. You can do this by selecting your deck leader and pressing the square button. See the blue square? That's the area where you can place your summoned monster. Let's place the monster in a position directly in front of your card leader. Line up the cursor by pressing the up directional button and press the X button. This is your current hand. Apparently there's only one monster in your hand that can be summoned to the field. This is because summoning a monster requires a certain amount of power. The spot currently indicated is where your currently available summoning power is displayed. At the start of a duel, you have 4 summoning power points. This amount will increase by 3 every turn, and you can accumulate up to a maximum of 12 points. When a monster is placed on the field, summoning power points equal to the monster's level are expended. Your current summoning power points total to 4. Okay. Hence, the only monster card you can summon to the field is level 4 monster, the Celtic Guardian. The dark cards are the monsters that you are unable to summon this turn. Now, let's summon the Celtic Guardian. First, move the cursor over the Celtic Guardian card. Press the X button. I'm actually not pressing anything, it's doing it for me. It's kind of a bit pointless, really. You're telling me what to do, but it's a lot better for some people to actually have a hands-on approach to learn, rather than doing it automatically. At this point, if you wish to cancel your selection, press the O button. To enter your selection, press the X button once again. You've now summoned the Celtic Guardian, the card is ready for battle. Now let's attack your opponents with the Celtic Guardian. To control a monster on the field, you must first activate the card you wish to move. This blue-eyes-white dragon is your opponent's leader. Let's try to attack the enemy leader. First, let's activate your monster by aligning the cursor over the desired card and pressing the X button. See the yellow square? This indicates the space where your monster can be moved this turn. Your opponent's card leader is directly ahead. Let's move straight into the space. To move your monster, you must select your destination with the cursor and press the X button. Okay. The Celtic Guardian advances 1 space, completing this move for this turn. Monsters can only move once per turn. However, a deck leader's summoning does not count as a move, hence the monster can move immediately after being summoned to the field. Since there is nothing else left to do this turn, let's end your turn. To end your turn, press the start button. Okay. At this point, it's your opponent's turn. Your opponent is summoning a monster and preparing to attack you. Is it? Now it's your turn. There's an enemy monster heading your way. Let's use the Celtic Guardian to eliminate the threat. To attack your opponent's monster, all you have to do is move your monster into the same space occupied by the enemy monster. A monster attacking another monster is referred to as a battle. The outcome of a battle is decided by the attack and defense factors of the respective monsters. I'm sorry, this is dragging on way too much. Point the outcome aside, let's attack run down to move your monster. I'm just not interacting with the game at all. Here. You've eliminated your opponent's monster and moved 1 space closer to your opponent's leader. However, your opponent is now aware of your monster's strength and will probably bring a more powerful monster into play to retaliate. Now let's take a look at the factors that govern the outcome of a battle. Here's how your attack played out. Your Celtic Guardian was in the attack position. The monster automatically assumes attack position whenever it is moved. The attack position indicates that your monster is either moved or attacked. A monster that doesn't move and holds its position is said to be in the defense position. Currently, your Celtic Guardian and the opposing baby dragon are both in the attack position. The outcome of a battle is decided by comparing the strengths of each monster. In this case, both monsters are in the attack position, hence the attack factors both monsters are compared. I get it. The attack of the Celtic Guardian is 1400, the attack of the baby dragon is 1200. Uh-huh. As a result, the baby dragon is eliminated and the attack difference of 200 is applied as damage against your opponent's life points. Now let's take a look at what might have happened if the opposing monster was stronger. Let's say your opponent had a Komori dragon in play with an attack of 1500. Your monster is much more The monster is much more powerful than your Celtic Guardian. When you attack this creature, the Celtic Guardian is eliminating you. Suffer 100 points of damage to your LP. But the attacks are equal. Let's say when Guardian of the Fortress number 1 with an attack of 1400 is brought into play. What happens? We draw. Oh, we both get destroyed. Okay, fair enough. Both monsters are eliminated, neither player suffers any damage to their LP. Let's take a look at defense position. Hard Armor is a monster with a high defense factor. A card currently horizontal or in the defense position. A monster set in this position cannot move or attack. The battle defense of the monster, okay. Although the depth of hard armor is fairly high, it is nothing compared to the attacking Celtic Guardian that's attack the monster. Hard armor is eliminated. No layer eliminating the monster in the defense position will not indicate any damage to the player controlling the eliminating monster. Okay. Now let's see what happens if the defending monster has Aquamador, the card's death for 2000. What happened when you attack this monster with your Celtic Guardian? I mean, I'm glad they go into such detail and make it easy to understand, because there is a lot to Yu-Gi-Oh! Not compared in this generation, nothing compared to modern Yu-Gi-Oh! Which is ridiculous with 50 million card effects and every card having 50 million different things it can do. It is absolutely flipping ridiculous, today's modern Yu-Gi-Oh! Compared to this generation, where it was simple and easy to understand. You didn't have to read 50 million lines of text for cards. Attackers count in the decision to point light from the Guardian. The defense of your Aquamado is inflicted against your life points. Since your attack failed, your attacking monster is driven back to the original position. Well, I already know most of this, I just wanted to know the buttons, really. What if you attacked a Rock Ogre, got always defense equal to your monster's attack? But then again, if you've never seen Yu-Gi-Oh! Or played Yu-Gi-Oh!, I'm leaving the tutorial in for that reason. Though no damage is applied to your life points, your monster is forced back to its original position. This concludes our lesson on battle. Let's continue with the duel. Okay, thank you. As you recall, your Celtic Guardian successfully moved into a position where it could attack your opponent's leader. The opponent's leader is unsupported and defenseless, leaving it open for a direct attack. Direct attack is an ideal opportunity to inflict major damage to your opponent's life points. Attacking the leader will result in inflicting life point damage equivalent to the attacking monster's attack factor. Let's try a direct attack. The procedure is the same as setting up a battle between the two monsters. See, the thing that I never got, what's the point of having a leader card if its stats don't come into play? You have now inflicted 1400 points of damage to your opponent's life points. You're now on your way to victory. As you can see, it is important to avoid direct attacks as much as possible. You should act immediately whenever an enemy leader is approaching your leader. Okay. Currently, you're winning, however, your opponent may retaliate. With this in mind, summon a monster with high defense points. Let's show the monster is able to protect the front of your leader since it has a high defense, place it in the defense position. To set a monster's defense position, follow the same step as movement and set the cursor of your monster card and select it for a move. Now press the L1, R1 buttons to toggle between attack position and defense position. Be careful that you don't move the monster to its destination space, as this will automatically set the monster into its attack position. Okay. Now that a monster card summoned on the field is initially placed face down instead in front of your opponent's view. The card will be flipped face up whenever it attacks or is attacked by an enemy. You may also manually flip a card face up. To do so, select the card for a move, press the L2, R2 buttons to toggle the card face up or face down. Noted. Once you have the card in the desired position, press the X button to enter your selection. However, you should know that a face-up card cannot be returned to a face-down position. That's why you should be very careful when you manually turn a card face-up. Okay, fair enough, fair enough. Your opponent has now summoned a Kaiser Dragon, a powerful dragon-type monster. You don't have a monster that's strong enough to withstand an attack from this creature. Fortunately, you have a magic card in the field that is capable of stopping the attack of dragon-type monsters. In fact, the magic card is capable of preventing the movement of all dragon-type monsters on the field. Let's use the magic to stop the opposition and focus on continually attacking the opponent's leader. You can trigger a magic card by flipping it face up and completing this move. Flip the card face up when the manner described earlier. This control inputs are the same for the magic as those monsters. Let's try activating the magic card. Nice. Your opposing monster has been neutralized when the magic spell notes go after the enemy leader. Okay. A duel can go either way. At times you may find yourself cornered by a cunning opponent. There will be occasions when there's nothing you can do but accept defeat and go for a rematch. You may surrender a match by pressing the select button. Don't give up too quickly. A well-played card could easily turn the tide of battle in your favour. This concludes the lesson on the fundamentals of how to battle in a duel. Okay, thank you. I'll probably put that like 2 times speed because, oh my gosh, it's a lot. This is like, what, 15 minutes tutorial? Now let's take a look at how a duel is settled. I thought we were done. Okay, there are 4 individual conditions for deciding the outcome of a duel. 1 condition is reduced and the opponent's life points to 0. Of course. Because the guardian is about to execute a direct attack of your opponent's leader. Since your opponent only has an LP total of 1,000 points. The damage you inflict will reduce your opponent's well past 0 and shot you're about to emerge victorious. If an example is a more complicated situation in which the LP 0 condition applies. Okay. In this scenario, the LP of both players are 500 points respectively. Your opponent has a not too powerful Needle Ball monster in play. However, the monster has a special ability. When the monster is eliminated in battle, it automatically inflicts 500 life points of damage to the opponent. Strength lies because the Guardian is far stronger than the Needle Ball. Now let's take a look at what happens when you attack this monster. I take 500 points of damage. Honestly, I may upload this video as a 0.5 instead of episode 1. Because it's going over the tutorial. That way I can actually just get on with the Let's Play if you don't want to watch it. As you have seen, the LP of both players have been reduced to 0. The result is a draw match. In this matter, the outcome of the duel is decided after all the triggered effects have been taken into account. Be careful that you don't get dragged into a draw and you have a good chance of winning a match. Okay. Another condition that decides the outcome of the duel is the occupation of summon areas. The area indicated in blue whenever you attempt to summon a monster are called summon areas. If all of these areas are occupied by your opponent's forces, you will lose the match in play. To be more specific, if your opponent occupies all your summon areas at the end of your turn, you lose. If you find yourself surrounded, it's vital that you clear at least one of these areas before your turn is over. If your leader is in this position, it leaves you with only 3 summon areas. When you're at the edge like this, there are only a few summon areas, and if they are all occupied, you'll lose. Depending on the terrain conditions, there are spaces that cannot be used as summon areas. In this situation, there are fewer summon areas, and if they are occupied by your opponent, you'll lose. Okay. The next condition for deciding the outcome of a duel is LP comparison, resulting from the clock running out in a duel. The time remaining in a duel is displayed in this location. The number of turns remaining will decrease by 1 following the completion of your turn, and that of your opponents. When the number of turns remaining reaches 0 and both players complete their respective turns, the outcome of the duel will be decided. In this case, the player with a higher number of LPs, life points, is declared the winner, hence maintaining the lead is a key strategy for the smart duelist. The final condition for winning is unleashing the power of Exodia the Forbidden One. It is said that somewhere in this world there are 5 very rare cards on Exodia the Forbidden One and its 4 forbidden limbs. Individually, these cards are weak due to the spells that bind them. However, once the seals are broken, or spells are broken, and the unstoppable force is unleashed, to release Exodia from the binding spells, the following steps are required. Exodia Forbidden One. This Exodia the Forbidden One must be brought into play as your deck leader. And you must position the 4 limbs of Exodia in the surrounding summon area. From there, flip over the attacking position when you enter into your turn without any spells or control preventing you from executing a normal turn. Exodia will be free from your opponent will face up plus defeat at the hands of the awesome creature. Okay. I doubt I'll ever summon Exodia, so this concludes a lesson on Mitsuri conditions. Okay, are we done? Please, are we done? Please! No! Now let's take a closer look at some of the other details and rules for dueling. First, you should be aware that there is a limit to the number of cards that can be placed on the field. Here is a situation in which several monsters have been summoned to the field. The display shows how many monsters you have in play in the field at the moment. Each duelist can only place 5 monsters respectively on the field. Any attempt to summon a monster that's easily off our mentioned limit. The result of the summon monster being reduced to dust. Likewise, only 5 spell cards have been placed on the field. You should take care to leave the summon area open so you won't find yourself in a situation where you're unable to play a key card. Okay. Gotcha. Talk about the consumption and recovery of summoning power points. Summoning power points are required in order to summon a monster to the field. At the outset of a duel, each duelist has 4 summoning power points. Yeah. Hence, bringing a level 4 monster into play at the start of a duel will reduce me to 0. Yeah. We'll use up the total available summoning points for that turn. Summoning power points spent in this manner will gradually recover as time passes. At the beginning of your turn, 3 points will be added. Points that are not expended will continue to accumulate. However, you'll not be able to accumulate over 12 points. Even in situations where the addition of points would exceed 12 points, you will not gain them beyond the amount. Fair enough. That way I can't just summon, like, 40 points worth of monsters in one turn. Some monsters and spell cards can significantly help or hinder recovery of summoning power points using to your best advantage. Now let's talk about spell cards and what happens in battle. When placed face down and unused, your opponent will not be able to tell whether you have a spell or a monster card in play. Like monster cards, spell cards can be attacks and can initiate attacks. Face up monster card is yours, your opponent has a spell card. When the spell card is attacked by a monster, it is easily destroyed. Although a spell card can be easily destroyed, attacking the spell card will never result in damage to your opponent's life points. Fair enough. Now you have a face down monster card. In monster versus monster battles, face down monsters will turn face up. Here's what happens with spell cards. As you can see, the spell card is destroyed by the monster card, but the monster card remains face down. As a result, spell cards cannot be used to discover the identity of a monster card. The only way to do that is to attack with a monster card. Okay. Let's see what happens when a spell card is used to initiate an attack. Similar to when it is attacked, the spell card is easily destroyed. This is still the case even when the monster card is in defense position. Okay, spell card is destroyed. This happens when you use a spell card to initiate an attack against an opponent face down card monster. Although it can't be verified, the card being attacked is a face down monster card. As in the previous case where a monster card attacks and destroys a spell card, the monster card remains face down. You should always remember that although spell cards are capable of powerful magic, they can be easily destroyed. When you bring a spell card into play, you should move it carefully. Now we'll take a look at what happens when your spell card attacks an opponent's spell card. The rules differ from those applied when battling a monster card. First, let's see what happens when you attack an opponent's spell card with a face-down spell card. In this case, the attacking spell card is destroyed and the attacking spell card succeeds in penetrating your opponent's defense. Initiating an attack with a face-down spell card will allow you to avoid having the card turn face up when you wish to avoid it. The fundamental rule is that the spell card cannot turn an opposing spell card face up in a battle. Let's see what happens when a face-up spell card attacks an opposing spell card. It's a lot to try and memorize for a new player who has no idea what Yu-Gi-Oh is. This time the spell card is activated. Important to remember the conditions for activating the magic card. The magic card is activated when it completes its move face up. Hence, regardless of whether a battle occurs, the magic card is activated since it completed its move face up. As a result, you should be careful about moving a face up spell card. Okay. Now let's discuss terrain effects. The field on which a battle is conducted consists of spaces with various terrain features. See, this is a thing that was explored in the anime, but quickly disappeared and was never seen again. Like, I liked the field bonus thing, like it was a cool feature in the game in my opinion. Certain monsters have certain benefits to certain terrains, like it was a really cool concept. Introduced early, at the start of Yu-Gi-Oh, but then just faded into never again used. Take a look at an example. Right now the cards are Guardians in the space where the terrain has no effect whatsoever on the card. The result is that both attack and defense factors remain at 1400 and 1200 respectively, unless moves this monster card to a medal space. In this case, the attack and defense factors increased by 500, raising the factors to 1900 and 1700 respectively. Since the cards are Guardians, the warrior type monster has an advantage when occupying medal terrain. In this manner, whenever a monster is in its favoured terrain, 500 points are awarded. Another added bonus when a monster is in its favoured terrain is increased movement. If a monster starts its move in a favourable terrain, the monster can move up to 2 spaces. A monster card with increased movement capabilities is noted in this area. When a monster with this mark is toggled to movement mode, the card increased movement area is displayed in this manner. Please note that a face down card is not awarded terrain bonus. Noted. This time, the cards of Guardians face down, let's try moving the card. As you can see, there is no movement bonus awarded despite the fact that the monster's card is located in favourable terrain. You just told me that this doesn't. What the hell is going on with the screen there? You can see as long as the card is face up, the movement bonus can be moved. Hence, to take advantage of the movement bonus, you must first turn the card face up and then select the space in which you wish to move. This time we have a dark terrain space. Gyaku Tenno Megami is a fairy type which is not suited for dark terrain. When not affected by terrain, the Gyaku Tenno Megami cards attack and defense factors 1800 and 2000 respectively. Now let's move the card into an unsuitable terrain space. The attack defense factors of the card decreases to 1300 and 1500. In short, whenever a monster ends up in unsuitable terrain, there's a 500 point penalty applied to the card. Since terrain can significantly affect your outcome of a battle, you should plan your destination for committing to a move. This one is subject to terrain effects. Let's talk about terrain with special features. First of all, there's a labyrinth terrain. The labyrinth is an extremely powerful obstruction and cannot be entered by most monster and spell cards, nor by a leader card. In addition, a labyrinth space cannot function as a summoning area. However, a card that has entered the labyrinth space by means of effects such as teleportation can easily exit the space and enter adjacent spaces. You can also initiate an attack against a monster located in the labyrinth space. Wall Shadow has the ability to freely enter out at the labyrinth space. It is currently located in the labyrinth space. The Flame Swordsman has an attack capability that sees Wall Shadow. What happens when the Flame Swordsman attacks the monster located in the labyrinth space? As can be seen, the opposing monster is destroyed, however the Flame Swordsman cannot enter the labyrinth space. Aside from certain monsters, the labyrinth is a space that can never be entered, making the space ideal for preventing an advance. Use it wisely. Oof. Crushed terrain can be entered with no resistance. And has no positive or negative effects on most monsters. However, this area is infected with a plague that will attack or destroy powerful monsters. Specifically, any monster with an attack of 1500 or more will be immediately destroyed under any one of the following conditions. The monster is summoned in the cross space, moves into a cross space, is located in a cross space that is transformed into a cross space, or is in a cross space where either you or your opponent's turn ends. Okay. Whew. Since the Celtic Guardian is an attack of 1400, it's not affected by a crush space, since the crush is not effective. Since the crush is not activated unless a monster has an attack 1500 or more. Oh my god. On the other hand, the Flying Swordsman has an attack of 1800 will activate the crush. If enter cross space is deadly, however, there are no restrictions to exit in the cross space and entering an adjacent space. In short, if you find monsters moved into a cross space by means such as teleportation, you could avoid destruction by immediately moving out of space. Since the cross space is activated by the attack level, a leader which doesn't have any attack or a spell can move normally in the space. As can be seen, there are various special features for particular terrain spaces. The mark of a good duelist is how well or she can use her terrain to his or her advantage. Now we'll discuss spellbinding. Spellbinding is a condition in which a card is unable to move as a result of a spell or other means. When a card is spellbound, it cannot be moved, flipped, or repositioned for attack or defense, unless it happens when the Celtic Guardian is spellbound. Right now, the Celtic Guardian is unable to move due to a spell. The turn count of the spellbinding the turn count for a spellbinding begins on the turn following the actual casting of the spell. The was not supposed to be there. So if a card is spellbound for one turn, it won't be able to move in the next turn, and regains movement on the turn following the next. Okay. There are situations in which a spellbinding can last more than one turn. In fact, there's a very dangerous condition, Eternal Spellbinding, which doesn't release the banned card no matter how many turns may pass. At the moment, Celtic Guardian is holding an Eternal Spellbinding. Under this condition, the Celtic Guardian will not be able to move no matter how many times you declare that your turn has ended. Instead of the number of turns remaining until the card is able to move being displayed, an affinity mark Infinity is displayed instead. It's very difficult to break an Eternal Spellbinding. There are only a few monsters and spells that have the capability to free a spellbound monster. Aside from the aforementioned, the only other way to free a monster from a spellbound binding is to destroy it. Let's take a look at the most common form of spellbinding and the attribute binding. A Parent Dragon is a wind attribute monster with an attack of 2000. It is much stronger than the Celtic Guardian. However, the Celtic Guardian is an Earth attribute monster, which places it in a more favourable position against wind attribute monsters. An advantage and disadvantages of attributes are displayed respectively during a battle. Let's see what happens when the Celtic Guardian attacks. The wicked Celtic Guardian is destroyed, however the opposing Parrot Dragon is now spellbound for a turn. In this manner, a monster of lower attribute that survives the battle is spellbound in the turn that follows. The rule also applies if both monsters survive the battle, as in the case where a monster is unable to destroy an opposing monster with high defense factor. I apologize. This is my throat. Seriously. Attribute difference can be effective when using a weak monster to render a stronger monster immobile. When an opponent's powerful monster is in pursuit, you don't have any surprise up your sleeve and your leader is isolated, creating a dangerous situation. Even under desperate circumstances, a good duelist will abide for time, believing in the summoned monsters and the chance to draw a card that could turn the tide of battle. Belief in luck of the draw can be a key to winning a battle. Among duelists, this belief is referred to as Destiny Draw. But in our desperate situations, now gifted you as a duelist, you may be granted the opportunity to attempt a destiny draw. Looks like victory may smile on you. This is your chance to draw the card that could turn the tables against your enemy. The destiny draw opportunity is signaled by flashing the area that is normally used to indicate that you can summon a monster from your hand. Okay. Drawing when this condition is indicated will usually result in the drawing of a card that will help you in your current predicament. Try drawing a card now. Take a look at the last card that you drew. The card on the far right, it should be a card that will bail you out of your current situation. Use this card wisely will help you overcome your desperate situation. However, you should remember that a destiny draw depends on luck and only occurs once in a duel. When it might happen is anybody's guess, all you can hope for is that Lady Luck smiles on you when you most need it, and that won't happen if your hand already consists of 5 cards. If that is the case, all you need to do is reduce your hand in the following turn in the hopes of triggering a destiny draw. Of course, if your deck is low on cards, there will be no destiny draw. Luck is an important element to victory, even the best duelist could lose without the aid of Lady Luck. All cards are deeply bound to a duelist. Your experience is vital key to strengthening the power of your deck. An indication is provided by rank, a recorder of cards. An indication list is provided by rank, a record of a card's performance throughout all your duels. A highly ranked card will demonstrate the special powers unique to its nature when the card becomes a leader. Take a look at Dark Magician's ranked Field Marshal. At this rank, the card's special powers are extended support range, increased strength for the same type friendlies, and weaken specific enemy type. Let's take a look at your opponent's leader. Baby Dragon has the following special powers: increased movement and open opponent's card. Since there are various special powers that evolve for each leader monster, we won't be able to cover them all. To understand the concept, let's take a look at the Baby Dragon situation. The best way to learn about the special powers of a card is to raise your own leader and watch it evolve through the course of battle. Okay. Baby Dragon has the power to turn any approaching enemy card face up for open viewing. Your Castle Guardian is currently face down near the enemy leader, mid the card towards the leader. The Castle Guardians automatically turn face up, revealing its identity to your opponent. The effect will also flip up a face down spell card to the face up position. It's just a simple one of the special powers that a leader has. To find out more, you will simply have to raise your own leader and watch the card evolve as you duel. That pretty much covers the rules of dueling. Is that right? Finally! Okay, that's going to be a separate video. This is 0.5. Like, I'm cutting the tutorial out and putting it in its own video. Because that is way too much. Like, way too much information. Way too long. That's a 0.5 point right there.